comes a point, I believe, where your greatest and only protection is to be fully emerged. And that doesn't mean you'll be protected from the physical world. That is the disillusioning, heartbreaking truth. But I also think it's the story of many great people who had courage, who weren't protected. You know, if you look at the courageous people in our world, they were either murdered or incarcerated. So many of them. And so it's not promising. It's not promising to have a lot of courage, except for the fact that there is a location, and this one I think I can speak to, that is a peace beyond human imagination. And there is a place where a sanctuary and a refuge. And if you agree to do what the injunction of the universe is, which I believe is to get out of suffering, the causes of suffering, and help others get out of suffering, and you have to continually emerge further in order to do that. If you do that, then you live in a permanent sanctuary wherever you are. And that to me is the only protection. But I don't know that it always protects our bodies. And so in terms of protecting our bodies, there's two things that are unique to women. You know, one of them is, people don't like it when I say this, it's controversial, but it isn't controversial. It's science, except for now, science is controversial. So, but you know, in many studies, they really wanted to understand what had some people be assaulted more than others. And so what they did was they spoke to assailants, abusers, violators, and they said, how do you choose who you're going to go after? And they said, I go after people who feel like victims and people who don't seem to be aware of their surroundings. And so it's just a way to walk through the world in awareness. It doesn't protect you necessarily, but it does change the odds. And in this world, that's all we can do is work with odds. It's impermanent, so you can't guarantee anything. So that's the first one. And then the second is, there's a certain kind of righteousness that everybody will mess with you nowadays. There's trolls everywhere. But there's a kind of righteousness where you have communicated that you will not back down no matter what. And what will you not back down from? You will not back down from yourself and your soul and your calling and who you are. And that communicates something more than anything else. And then the very last thing I'll say is, and then as you open incrementally, the wisdom there'll be a layer of wisdom around each one, around understanding how to work with this. My entire memoir is me encountering masculine worlds and tossing and opening inside of them. And the shock that you feel when you make it to the other side is, I was always the one who held the power, I just didn't know it. That's the reward